దారముసువే నన్ను పాంగరదాచనమే
I overcame the fear of change and newness. It is a very striking insight to watch the world from perspective of someone who travels constantly, in comparison to a regular traveler who travels with the sole purpose of treating themselves with a break or getting away from the regularities of the life. For someone like myself, the process of traveling in itself and going to places is both a regularity and a retreat, and I feel lucky to have fallen in love with my choice of not wanting to settle back in a place. Now don't misunderstand the beautiful reality of settling down for otherwise. It is just my choice. But I do have a place that I call home and family that I go back to from time to time. But again, it is just a temporary dwelling. It is interesting now that I think about it, my recent trip to Bangalore has changed my outlook on certain aspects of life. Now, I'm not a guru or an expert in telling someone how to look at their own life, because no one person's life is similar to another, and those few differences bring huge variances in the lifestyle of people. But from what I felt and saw during my short 2-week trip to Bangalore, I am positive that I can change your perspective on things I'm about to tell. It was the first time during my travels that I hadn't carried my camera equipment, given that it was an unplanned trip. But I just got lucky to have visited Bangalore right before the virus curfew was set. Let me tell you why I think I was lucky. This trip changed me a small bit from inside, just enough for me to have grown a positive outlook over how I see life. You see, most of us are aware of half a glass of water example. You are given half a glass of water. You either silk over half the glass being empty, or identify the opportunities of having half-filled glass of water and look for ways to fill it up. I visited an ashram in Bangalore where I met people from different walks of life. But I noticed that everyone was genuinely happy, and they taught me that a peace of mind is directly proportional to success. I know what you're thinking. How could I correlate one person's meaning of success to another? Because not two persons are same, and what success means to me might not mean the same to you. From what we can observe the current situation right now, around the world and for us on an individual level, most of us are going through difficult times in many different ways, but we all come to a common ground when it comes to searching for peace of mind. No matter what we have or don't, the time we attain our ideal peace of mind, we start to realize that we don't impose anything upon us just to impress someone, to get somewhere or to fit in. We are just ourselves. Now, I was lucky enough to have had an opportunity to spend some time in nature, and us being the element of nature, we must cultivate an understanding of the idea of not comparing ourselves to someone else, anyone else. We must settle ourselves from envy and a need to want more and more to an extent that it leaves someone else deprived of what we have. For one last time, you are the answer for everything in your life, and you don't need to search for it in something or someone else. And from everything that I have learned, if you really want to help somebody, listen to them. And try to put yourself in their shoes before you say something. Try to pave a way for others to fill their rest of a glass of water. All in all, you don't need to wait for someone to come and tell you that you are honestly the best companion for yourself, because that is the truth. Now you see, in the end, all your materialistic possessions will be long gone. Your friends and family can come only so far. And when you have yourself, just you alone, you must be able to remain in peace and happiness, knowing that you are your greatest asset and partner. I'm not just saying it to try to put you into thinking that way. Well, from everything that I've seen with those happy people who enjoy themselves to a point where you start to envy them or expect your life to grow into that, you need to realize that every single one of those happy folks believe in the concept of thinking that they are their greatest gift. Let me put it this way for you. My life sums up in just 3 parts: before, during and after traveling. I want you to understand that for someone who decides to travel full-time or be gone for a long time from the daily life, it is a tough commitment to know that even though it's their passion to go to places, they cannot escape the uncertainty factors that lies ahead of them. Uncertainty of financial strength, security, health and nutrition, and one of the hardest of all, maintaining relationship. Now many people back out from such lifestyles just realizing these uncertainties and settle back to the regular life that they once were planning to escape from. It is a hard-suck fact that you will eventually get through them if you put your passion as your routine, and you would not realize it unless you try it at least once. I know it's easier said than done, but believe me, it is a beautiful reality. And then, during my travels, I face extreme culture shock, but that's okay for me because I can easily adjust to the changes around me. I started to feel purposeless, like I was empty, and it didn't actually feel how beautifully I imagined it to be. Sometimes I felt like I should just pack up everything and go back to where I once was. But I somehow felt that people were going to laugh at me for not coming to my nomadic life and tell me that this had so. But then, here's where things start to change towards a positive outlook. I told myself that no matter what I do in my life, no matter how exciting I thought things would be, even if that's the epitome of happiness, adventure, and excitement, I would not enjoy it and suffer the void as long as I don't get used to the feeling of newness. We are often, if not always, scared of the changes, even though we know that our life is going to turn out just fine or even more so amazing. Because it is hard to say goodbye to things that we have been devotedly doing for years, it is hard to say goodbye to our daily routine. And similarly, it is hard to say goodbye to people whom we are connected with, even though we know that it's high time that we should look for something new, something more. Look, I overcame the fear of change and newness, and that's where third part of my life begins, which is after my travel. Don't get me wrong, I didn't mean that I stopped traveling. What I rather mean is that after my fear of change that comes along with traveling often, if not full time, that is when I no longer feel like I'm just traveling. Rather, I feel like I'm living my travels, my passion, and living exactly how I imagine it to be living like. This is just my example. You don't have to travel to realize that you need to put your passion, love for yourself, and those certain things and people ahead of what you're trying to escape. It is only inevitable to face a crisis while pursuing what you love. It is obvious that you'll fall down many times, but your next step is just another try away. So realize that you can't afford to stop trying if you really want to live your dreams.